All right, Coast Guard Bears fans, it's that time again. It's our weekly debrief with Coach CC Grant. Coach, second game of the season. Just cut right to the chase. How do you sum it all up?
We have a long way to go. Again, we did some things very well. Obviously didn't execute as well as we would have liked. But I think the defense played pretty well, kept us in the game. And even at the end, towards the end of the game, there were plays probably I would say at the end of both halves, there were still plays to be made that we left on the field. So it's a work in progress. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that these kids aren't already there yet, and we're kind of in a stage where we're developing them as we play these games.
Yeah, well, let's talk defensive side of the ball. You had some great moments from the defense. They held that at the 5-yard line, kept them out of the end zone a couple of times. Talk to me from the defensive side of the ball. Seem really strong. What are you proudest of there, and what are you working on?
Pretty much. I mean, guys are, we got a bunch of tough guys, outsized in a lot of cases, but two guys that stick out in mine are two of my linebackers, Mike Palermo and Connor Healy, are playing tremendous right now. They're the ones responsible for getting us lined up. They're in the middle. Everything kind of runs through them, and they're doing great. Connor, he was an outside linebacker for us, and I told him he's going to move inside. I saw him one day, the way he could run, and he wasn't quite Eugene Bitzer's speed, but he was pretty fast for the ball. So we moved him, and they've done a great job of kind of being leaders on and off the field. I think the way our defensive backs have been playing, especially the two corners, have been great. We haven't given up, knock on wood, we haven't given up any long balls this year yet. So if I look at those four guys, they're kind of probably the center of it all. But overall, I like the way that we compete. Like I said, we're going to be outside pretty much every week. But if we can get just a little bit better technically and not make some of the mental and physical mistakes, because there was, although I look at it and I said, hey, we played a pretty good game defensively. There were a couple of times when on fourth down, if we could have got a stop, maybe they don't score. We miss a tackle, we miss an assignment here or there. And although you look and say defensively, you get 13 points, those are huge plays that may not show up in the stats. But, when you sit down and break down the film on Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, they show up with us. And those are things that we have to clean up.
Yeah, game of inches. Let's talk on the offensive side of the ball. Safari Wall, great arm. He's had some really great moments, maybe some not so much. When I look at the split, you've 75% from the air, 25% from the ground. Talk to me a little bit about your approach to offense, and talk to me a little bit about Safari.
I think if it was up to me, we probably would be a little bit more balanced than we were in the first game. And I think Jarrett Coletti carried the ball for almost 20 times, and he had almost 80 yards. So, but I also look probably at the end of the game when we were behind at last quarter and a half, we probably threw the ball a little bit more than we wanted to. Because I thought we had a successful ground game going on Saturday, and maybe if we could have run a little bit more. For us defensively, as a defensive unit, you love it when the offensive unit can run the ball. It gives you a little bit of rest time, So part of it was out of need. He's like I said, he's developed. He's in the development stage right now. He's not already there. And you kind of have to remind the offensive coaches that, hey, you got a guy that you're developing, as well as, you hope show him some success. But he's not a kid that can lean on experience, because he doesn't have any, except for the first two games. So, you would like to take a few of those turnovers back, especially the ones at obviously the pick six and the one at the end of the first half, where you're right on the edge of being a field goal range. So, we'll to the kid's credit, he came over to me after the game and said, hey, this one's on me. And I said, no. I said, we lost as a team, and that's the way it's always going to be. But to his credit, I think he's, in his own mind, he's taking blame for the loss. So although we would never do that to him. So that in a lot of ways shows me the maturity that he's already has.
Yeah, well, he's got a great arm. He's thrown some beautiful passes.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was one other thing I wanted to ask. Time of possession seemed to kind of not go on your favor. The Colonels held on to the ball. How much of an impact did that have on your game?
Yeah, I think it does. Anytime you can possess the ball for a longer period of time than your opponent, that's normally plays on the positive side. And I think part of that were the 4 turnovers that we had. That has a large part to do it. And the other part is if you don't get off the field on 3rd and longs, although I thought 3rd downs, I think they were maybe like 4 out of 16 or something like that. It was something very low. But even on the 4th downs, if they were like 80% on 4th downs, that's going to prolong drives. So when you put all that stuff together, it goes in their favor.
All right. Well, it's still, I do have to say, even with 4 turnovers and 21-18, that makes quite a statement. I know that a win and loss, there's, it's black and white, but at the same time, 21-18 with 4 turnovers. I mean, you guys, that was competitive.
Yeah, I have to say, even late in the game, I'm like, we got a chance to pull this out. We went down the field, we scored a touchdown, we went for 2, we get that. Now we're down for 3, and I'm talking to the guys because we still have all 3 timeouts left, whether onside or whatnot. But there's a chance that in retrospect, because they had a personal foul on sportsmanlike conduct. Now in retrospect, I was thinking maybe I should have kicked it deep, and we go 3 and out. Matter of fact, they threw on 3rd down to save us a timeout. The pass was incomplete. That maybe we get the ball back now instead of getting it back deep in our own area. We probably get the ball back maybe on a 45 or even at the the midfield mark. So, hindsight's 2020. We did play hard. That's the one thing I would say about these kids. They played right to the last play, and that's one good thing I could say about this game.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap this up, I want to look ahead to next week. Coach, I got your number, and I hear that your number is 672. 672 days since the Coast Guard Bears last played at home. I was a Merchant Marine game back in 2019. What's it going to be like to be back on your home field after all that time?
It's going to feel great. And I think for these kids that the adrenaline's going to be working. It's going to be, we have 2 homecomings this year, and it's going to be the first one. So the stands are going to be full. It's going to be good to get a little home cooking, just for them to be able to play on a field where they practice every day, sleep in their own beds, and not have to get up and get on a bus or anything. It's going to feel nice. And to play a home game after almost 2.5 some odd years, whatever it might be at this point in time, it's going to feel real good. All
right, and tell me a little bit about your opponent, and I'll bid you farewell, because we are going to be there at that game on Saturday to cover it. We're looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing you in person. But tell me a little bit about the matchup.
Nichols is a good team, and they were probably the most complete team out of the first 3 that we played. Quarterback can make every single throw. They have a dynamic, the best running back that we'll face up to this point in the season. They're big up front. I watched some of their defensive tape, and they got good skilled kids all over the field. So it's going to be a challenge. As much as the first 2 games were, I think this one's going to be even a bigger challenge for us.
All right, Coach, listen, appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, Graham, I appreciate you having me.
All right, appreciate you, Coach. Thank you.
Take care.